and gentlemen, it is that time yet again. We just had our massive Yugioh tournament, which is, if you are living under a rock, guess what? The largest Duel Links tournament, largest Duel Links event that happens anymore since the exodus of Master Duel has commenced. Yugioh, thank you so much for all the sponsorship and the continued friendship they have at DLE. Let's talk meta game. Oh my lordy, we're going to recap the tournament really quickly for you guys. As you can see, Phantom Knights at 51 entries. A lot of people in my Twitch chat were basically spamming that this deck is tier 0, and I will give my opinions on Phantom Knight after we go over some of the decks that topped. We did have a top 32, so it's a much cleaner top cut. 204 total players. You can see Harpies being the second most entered deck, which last video we talked about Harpies when we did the checking in on Duel Links video. We saw that a lot of people entered with Harpies, but very few actually topped with it. So, you know, let's see. In the most competitive tournament we have left in Duel Links, let's see how Harpies ended up going. Lots of Abyss Actors, still a lot of Magnets, which is, to me, a surprise. I don't know why people still play Magnets, but here we are. Let's get right into it. Boom! The top 32 is very massively favored towards the Phantom Knights at 12 entries, 3 Abyss Actors, 2 Harpies, 2 Gaia, 2 Magnets, 1 of Burning Abyss, 1 Buster Blader, 1 DDD, 1 Elemental Hero, 1 Galaxy Photon, 1 Gimmick Puppet, 1 Hazy Flame, a Mermail, a Necros, a Ritual Beast, and a Water XCs, all at 1 variations. Now, here's the thing, boys. Look at that Harpy. Harpy's going from the second most entry at 24 at 2 entries in the top cut. If you need any more proof that Harpy Ladies is irrelevant in the current metagame, there you go. They're just not good. Phantom Knights are just so much better. Barely making it more tops than something like Buster Blader, which has also fallen off. Buster Blader was, you know, touted to be a really good deck, but ended up just really being good against Magnets because they were able to break the stall better than all the other decks. And once those Magnets dried up, they didn't have those free wins anymore. Now, we're going to kind of talk about decks as we go down the list here. Phantom Knights being first up. Is it tier 0? No. That is the answer, no. In my opinion, it is not tier 0. Some people may look at this and say it's tier 0. I don't think so. I think for a deck to be tier 0, it has to be just like when Automats became tier 0. Do you guys remember when that happened? It was Automats and then like a couple of decks, and then when they became tier 0, people were like, how do we stop Automats? They're so good. They're this sole tier 1 deck that's beating everybody. What's the counter? The counter is a different style of Automat deck. It was just Automat with trap cards, and then Automat, and then it just took over. It was 60% or more, 50 to 60% of top cut representation, had the most entries. If you were not playing Automat, you weren't gonna do anything. You know, just even highly anti-Automat strategies like Lunalights just weren't working against, you know, Rhino Bussin'. It just wasn't happening. Phantom Knights still have very large weaknesses. You know, we see Abyss Actor constantly kind of exploit it with sealed tombs and stuff like that, you know, messing around with the graveyard, and then of course it's just a heavy back row deck, just like all the decks that are successful these days tend to be heavy on the back row, and when it comes to heavy on the back row plays, it just depends on what you draw. So Phantom Knights, while definitely a sole tier 1 deck, I don't think it's tier 0. You guys let me know down in the comments though if you believe they are tier 0. And if you are, do you believe Commandments, which is coming very soon, is that enough? Giving decks an extra 3 copies of Necro Valley, is that enough to deter them from being like the best deck? It's easily the best deck, but I don't think it's a tier 0 deck at all. But you guys tell me, what do you think? Abyss Actors kind of feels like the second best deck right now. Like it feels like Phantom Knights, Soul tier 1, and then like nothing's tier 2, and then Abyss Actor is chilling there in tier 3 because they actually have a strategy to face Phantom Knights where the other decks just kind of, they just either fold to it or hope they open back row. That's really what it feels like. If I had to make a tier list, I would dead ass just put Phantom Knights tier 1 and then like Abyss Actors tier 3. Nothing feels like tier 2 right now. That's just kind of how I feel when it comes to strength of the decks. Going purely off of emotion, it would probably look something like that. But as we can see, that's not necessarily the case, because when we got to the top 4 of said tournament, the top 4 decks were 3 Phantom Knight and a Burning Abyss of all decks. Holy cannoli. So I think a more accurate tier list representation, we're going to make the tier list right now. You ready? Phantom Knights are tier 1. And then everything else that you see on this list, besides, I would say, well, actually, let's actually make a real tier list. Let's make a real tier list, okay? Phantom Knights tier 1 easily. Abyss Actors, in relative for everything else, you could put them tier 2. They're cut above all the other decks. They don't come close to Phantom Knights, but they are better than the other decks on the list. Harpies, I don't think they're meta relevant. I think there's just so many people that entered with them, they probably ended up on the tier list. 24-2 conversion rate is not good. Magnets, I don't think they're relevant. Get them out of here. Burning Abyss, I think Burning Abyss is worthy of being a tier 3 deck. It plays very similar to it feels like a scuffed Phantom Knight when you see them played. Honestly, their biggest weakness is the Burning Abyss monsters popping themselves whenever they end up getting Book of Moon or something like that. And with Commandments coming out, and they may not be super relevant anymore. So I'm willing to put them at tier 3. Buster Blader, I think Buster Blader fell off. I don't think it's good enough. DDD, I think DDD, the new Pendulum skill, we saw it in the tournament, is really, really good. Is very strong. Is a very cool Pendulum deck. I would put that at tier 3. And then probably Ritual Beast I put at tier 3, because they're able to play that back row control very, very easily. Everything else on here, I don't think is meta relevant whatsoever. So there you go. Phantom Knights tier 1, Abyss Actor tier 2, and then all those other decks tier 3. Boom, bam, bam. Send it away. You guys know how I like to do it. I like to do power rankings where you have multiple tournaments and you get data and you get to see what's actually first, second, fifth, third, fourth, fifth. Unfortunately, there's just not enough Duel Links tournaments to parse any real true data. So all tier lists should be taken with a grain of salt. So if you're going to get angry at me and cry at me in the comments for my tier list, I'm just going to laugh at you, because, at the end of the day, tier lists are all opinion-based, and it doesn't really matter, what we ultimately think, what the meta looks like. Moving on, we got ourselves some of the decks, to the finalist decks. Phantom Knights. Yeah, this is pretty much the way Phantom Knights are played. 3 out of the top 4 decks were Phantom Knights, and they all pretty much looked just like this. So there you go, Phantom Knights. You love to see it. We'll see if the deck changes. Maybe put in more removal when Necro Valley becomes more of a problem. And then the Burning Abyss deck, Luke Tyler's Burning Abyss deck, was also in the Grand Finals. There you go. There you go. Look at that beauty. This deck, pretty much, it came down to the Virgils being resummoned with Sir over and over and over. It came down to the Dante's giving, resummon factor. The Nightmare Shark cheese play was there. And then heavy back row. Heavy on the back row to facilitate your plays. Breakthrough skill, because Dante can mill your deck and you can get free breakthrough skills. Not bad. There you go, boys. That is a recap of the GG Tour tournament, as well as the top decks that showed up. You guys give me your tier list. I gave you mine. Give me yours down in the comments below, because I do believe right now this game, because of the lack of tournaments, you can't do a really objective-based tier list. You can really only do an opinion-based one, which is fine. It is what it is, We take what we can get. And, of course, if you want to join in these tournaments, we actually have weekly Duel Links tournaments hosted in the Discord. Check out the Discord link down below. And then these large $500 events with hundreds and hundreds of players. You can find these events every other week. We host them and stream them over at the DLE Yu-Gi-Oh channel, as well as Discord. So make sure you're a part of both of those. Like, comment, subscribe to the channel so we can beat the algorithm. Like, comment, subscribe if you like Duel Links, so I can know that you guys want more Duel Links content and bring it to you. That's all I got for you guys. Take it easy till next time.